Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hi, Ginger and Sanity. I guess you guys are staying up. Welcome in. I cooked dinner today as well. Yeah, I decided, look. Hello, welcome. Hi, Digardo. And I was like, okay, so was a lot of aww. Happy birthday again, Ginger. I've only been awake for 4 hours, but you had a nap before? Jesus Christ, you guys are going crazy. Happy forever 21st birthday. Anyways. Nah, you're 21. It's fine. So what I was about to say, I actually 21 with 16 years of experience. Jesus. Okay, so I wanted to share a few things. First of all, I repurposed my little makeup bag, so now I keep all my lipstick and everything in it, so I can take it to work with myself, and I don't have to just throw it in the bottom of my backpack. Hi, Cactus! Hello, welcome. But I also wanted to share, because I've ordered this thing off of eBay. And obviously it arrived from China. And it says, it has a nice little writing here. And it says, lifestyle, what sunshine is to flowers, smiles are to humanity. And I still don't fully understand what that means. So, focus. So I guess I'll never know what it means. It means lifestyle. But yeah, sometimes I just look at this little thing, read this inspirational quote. It says, Sanity, it says, lifestyle, what sunshine is to flowers, smile to our humanity. I don't get it, honestly. But you know what? There we go. Oh, okay, so that's what it's trying to say. I was like, my English is broken, but not this broken. I was trying to figure out what it says. So pretty much it's like what sunshine is to flowers, smiles are to humanity, I think. They just put an extra 2 in it, I think. But oh well. I still chuckle at it when I read it. It's at least it's funny. Also, I have another laptop in the background. That's my work laptop. Don't worry about it. I got a new work laptop. Yes, and yeah, it's just chilling on the spare desk that's in here. Ginger can read Brokenese. Thank you. Yes. Okay, now I understand. So, today, there are 2 things that I want to watch. First thing is that Nubilet's character demo is out, because, you know, his banner drops tomorrow. I've watched the character trailer, so I want to watch the character demo. Hopefully it's nice. Excuse me. And then I really wanted to watch Ashkai's. Oh Jesus! 4.0 Arconen World Quest recap. It's about 40. It's not about. It is 52 minutes. But I really wanted to watch it, and I wanted to watch it on stream. Because I could have watched it on my own, but you know what? It's more fun watching it with multiple people. And if I have time, maybe I should knock out the Abyss. Oh, I've seen that Mainslin also put up one, but I want to watch Ashkai first because that's like I watch her more often. Or like them. I'm not sure if they identify as a she, her. And then we can watch Mainsley, but I also want to do the Abyss because it's the 26th and I have 4 days to figure out what I want to do with it. So, yeah. Oh, first of all, I want to do my dailies because I actually haven't done my dailies yet. Hang on. Let me just put you guys on the side here. Yeah, okay, so the only thing that I haven't, like, there are a few side quests that I haven't done, which I don't know how important they are. I don't know if they are. Hang on. Okay. Also, do we know what happened to Nora? She haven't showed up in any of the streams recently. Do you guys think that she got alcohol poisoning? Okay, let me know if the game is not loud enough. So... Veta. The fuck? Did this child just run up to me and stood next to me? You're a weird child. Anyways, so yeah, there is this one quest here with the men stuck in the sand. I don't know how important that is. Check the Discord if you like broken English. Oh god, hang on. You are... What? You are my love, my angel. Don't treat me like a potato. What? You talk like an angel, walk like a model, but your bloody look like a buffalo. What? Honestly, I need these signs in the background here somewhere. Angle. Oh, you look like an angle. Yes, you look like an angle. Walk like a model, but your body look like buffalo. Honestly, I need these in the background here. I don't know where I can get these, but I want one of these. Oh god, I love it. Love it. Okay, so I don't know about the Sandman guy, the guy that's stuck in the sand, the Sandman. I kind of feel like Krongs in the Empire's New Grove. Cusco is little poison. The poison for Cusco. Cusco's poison. The Sandman. Anyways. Hey, wait, hang on. The second one says angel. No, that one also... No, the second one says angel, yes, and the first one says angle. Jesus Christ. My god, I need one of these signs. I love it. Okay, so I don't know how the Sandman quest is important, but I've done the Melusine quest, both of them, because there are 2 important Melusine quests. The third one talks about Rambo. The Sandman is a hidden quest. It's not that hidden. I mean, I did find it, but there's the weird thing that there is no waypoint around it. The closest one is here, which you need to like climb up and walk all the way like over there. Or you can teleport here and just like kind of glide down. That's why I put it. Ah, okay. Yeah, well, you have to like walk there, so you can't just teleport and be there, I guess. But also, I'm doing pretty well with exploration regarding everything. I need to feed Bellypup though. You can also, I mean, yes, so if you teleport here and swim up and swim to the shore, I guess you can. Alright, let me just do my my dailies and then we can start watching some of the videos that I wanted to watch today. And potentially do the Abyss if we have time for that. I didn't forget Bellypup. Oh, by the sandman, there's a sus flower. If you click it, beat the pyre whooper flower, you get the chest. Ooh, hang on. I'll put a reminder of it for myself. That there is another one here. The sus flower somewhere around there. Also, I have 68, almost 69 pins, and I have no idea where are they, where I put them down. You should have like a clean all your pins type of deal, because I have no idea where I left half my pins. 68 pins. Oh, there's one here. I think I've done this one. I might not have done this one actually. Oh, there's another one. Also, what are the lost energy blocks are for? Or another game, not sure what that is. I never figured it out. Neither. Maybe we should Google it, honestly. Oh, there are a few of them. A few of them around here as well. Did I put down any in Inazuma? There's one. Oh, Kid Kurai. I never finished Kid Kurai. Oh, too bad for them, I guess. Alright, if you're asking why my daily commissions are in Inazuma, is because sometimes daily commissions give you the commission to beat specters, and I need specters for cock. Yeah, I know that he is on most islands, but his game just annoys me way too much. So I think I've done like one string of his games, and then I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. It's not worth my mental well-being of chasing this kid around. Ah, fuck off. For cock. Yes, exactly. Cock is love, cock is life. Something like that. Oh, God damn it, I keep pressing G instead of F. I've been working on the AG account in the last few days. Good on you. I've learned about this one. The thing. What's the name of this thing? Not sure. So that means Sanity. Next time that if we have Wind Trace, we can actually like play on all the maps. Oh, I don't like this. This is the mushroom growing one. I keep forgetting about this. Leaving. Alright, so con the village. So tell me how to use it. First add water, and then crushed leaf, then the mix well. Okay, I remember. Okay. Ah, okay. Interesting. To be fair, is it worth it? Is it worth the suffering? There's a... Okay. So I got kind of lazy in Genshin because there's just so much things that needs to be done, and a lot of the times it's like, huh, is it really worth it? Is it worth it? And a lot of the times I'm like, you know what, I'm too lazy to do this, and it just never gets done. That's how I was with the Auranoras. That's why Dingardo did it for me. Also, there are... Okay, so actually, later this stream, I could try to figure out some of the puzzles that I've never done. Oh, fuck, I clicked the wrong one. Oh, well. You're asking me, the person who 100%ed the map, if it's worth it. To be fair, I 100%ed the map as well. But that doesn't mean that I got every chest. I clicked the wrong dialogue option. I memorized the whole, like, sequence of actions and then I clicked the wrong one. Okay, well. Because, okay, hear me out. Because I still have these things and I still have no idea what they're for. Also, I'm missing one because there's 1, 2, 3, and 5. So I'm missing one. Also, I still have a shit ton of these. Not sure what that is. I also have the Tokiali Tales not finished. None of them, actually. Plus, what's really annoying is that I still have these things. According to Dingardo, you're supposed to use all of these. Primo gems are always worth it. Alright. So, I've got these things. Apparently, you need to use all of them. So... yeah, that's a thing. Also, I still have this from Razor's quest. Granted, there's only 2 in that chest. I know, that's why I'm like very hesitant. Also, this year's cake was so cute with the little fox and the little finches. Ginger probably just got a cake. It's so pretty. If you... yeah, so I need to have these. I need to get these done. I need to get this done at some point. I have to get these done, and I have no idea what this is. I've got no clue. Rafik shipbuilding material. Oh, because I haven't finished that daily quest line. Okay. That's okay. The laptop broke a week before my birthday. I don't have that cake. I'm sorry. But the cake is really pretty. Fuck. Oh, I'm also on the wrong team. I just realized it. Oh, you know what? Actually, nah, this team is fine. Because, Lynette and the Kokomi are the only ones who don't have their friendship on level 10. So... it's fine. The nuclear fallout zone. Go away. Bam, 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 bam. Aren't these is there a mirror maiden here usually?
Over here.
Or that's like the other side. I'm pretty sure it's here usually. Bam, 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 bam. Fuck off. Nice. Alright. Oh yeah, like this quest. Now I get Primo Gems for farming specters, which I would need to do anyway because of cock reasons. Ah, okay. Well,
Allow me.
I did realize that I don't care as much about Star Rail as I want to care about it, if that makes sense. I don't know why. It's just that game hates me.
As you wish, mein Fräulein. Be still.
Also, I love that dude is just chilling up there while I'm beating the shit out of these specters. wrap them by the wind. Oh, I did the daily commissions. Alright, great. Yeah, I agree with that. It's fun, but Genshin is just better.
Add Astra.
I don't know why. Not like I'm not that attached to any characters apart from Jingyuan because you know he's a sexy man. But yeah, I'm not particularly attached to any characters, and after like playing through the story, all I can say is, ah, that was nice. That wasn't that like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, this is the best game that ever been gamed kind of situation. Alright, so now that that's done, I'll just teleport myself to Fontaine. And we can watch a few videos. Oh yeah, I haven't played these guys' quest either. Is it just me? Or these guys, especially the one in the white, his clothes change every day. Okay, I'm conducting a research on this. I don't want to go close to them because it will trigger the quest. Yeah, that was a honeymoon period, definitely, because I couldn't stop playing it for like a few weeks. But I do feel the same about Fontaine. Fontaine is so much more fun, in my opinion. Like, just this area is so much more fun than this area, and that area combined. I don't know, it's just so fun. Like, even just walking on the ground and enjoying the scenery and whatnot, it's so good. It's great. Oh, these continue the other... Okay. Let me just mute the audio so we can watch...
You call that...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, hang on. And... Wait. So... Character demo Neuvillette is incoming, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, let's do this.
You call that evidence?
It's not
I heard they
convincing
were
at
lovers
all.
turned enemies.
Sounds like
Wait, is that the same video? Oh, they are just laying it on top of each other. Okay. Hey, sorry, I'm late. I was responding to a 911 call about a student. I'd come across it. It's Red Snake. What? Okay.
You call that evidence?
It's not
I heard they
convincing
were
at
lovers
all.
turned enemies.
Sounds like we're in for quite a
You
show.
ask me, they're all
impossible.
that much, Mora? No way is it all clean.
The court is always filled with a cacophony of voices. Passion, schadenfreude, indignation, terror. Emotions burst forth from the depths
Objection.
of the heart. and
Welcoming
surround
King's
their
Card, by the
host
way.
like a dense fog.
I'm fine. I'm fine. Oh! What do you mean? I'm fucking dragon. If the dragon looks like this.
Don't you see? I had no time to administer the poison.
You got everything ready before the lights ever went out.
But I was best friends with the victim. Except you secretly hated each other after what happened 5 hours ago.
Rotten to the core.
There's no use denying it. Man, the demon only said I
They say, let justice run down like water. Water is both the origin
Oh my god.
and the denouement. Somewhere between the raucous spectacle of the court and the cold rationality of the legal code, something has gone awry. You who were born with original sin,
Original
Go forth
sin
and search for the
again.
long-buried truth before all is lost beneath the waves. I will use the past to judge the future.
I'm fine.
In the end, the countless rivers of emotion shall flow into one, and the tumult shall give way to lasting peace.
Is the trial over already? My dear Eudix, I must remind you, no trial can be sufficiently dramatic if it is too short.
You are right, Lady Farina. But this is not the end. Merely a prelude for what is to come.
Where? Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. Was that the sky cracking? I know that I'm like very in simp mode and all my neurons are just like sexy anime man, but the sky cracking was ominous as fuck. What? Why is the sky cracking? So I was working some apartments and met this Aussie student with his pet snake. Obviously, it's the fucking Aussies again. Fucking Aussies. Of course they would have a pet snake. I talked about it, and 3 minutes after I walked away, someone called 911 on him saying that he had a rope. I had to go over and tell the cops that I knew, like, hey, chill, it's just an Aussie and his pet snake. Why are the Aussies so strange? Obviously, it's an Aussie having a pet snake. Because, you know, Australians. I love Australians, but damn. Oh, yes, I can see that 100% that an Aussie in America is having a pet snake and keeping it in his dorm. God damn it. All right. So that was Novelette with the cracking sky. That was something. I knew the cop and I just watched her try and control her laughter. I mean, that's pretty funny, honestly. Okay, so after being over the shock of Novelette as a being and the cracking sky, which is still, I think, has a lot more importance than we want to give credit for. Because, you know, the sky is fake and all of that. Also, Ayato in the background is like, yes, I agree with my wife. I love you, babe. Anyways, I am starting to lose my goddamn mind. Anyways, let's watch Ashikai's video about 4.1. Or not 4.1, 4.0. It's an hour, 52 minutes. So I hope you guys are comfortable. So if you... let me just link her channel down. In the... So that's her channel. Check her out. She has some wild theories, a bit too wild, but some of them actually makes a lot more sense and it's very informative. So that's one of the channels I'm watching. All right, let's do this.
Bonjour, friendlies, and welcome to Fontaine, our newest addition to Devat, and wow, what an update. Now, I don't really like to recap quests that are voiced because I think most people prefer to just rewatch the quest, and I think that recapping the events of the world quest is a little pointless because what happens in them is usually a lot easier to remember than all of the little lore details and backstories that are packed into them that no one really reads or retains. So for that reason, the recaps of the quests in this video will be particularly brief and sparse, as I will mostly be focusing on all the stuff that we learned from these quests instead. Now, if that is not your cup of tea and you're here for actual recaps, this probably is not the video for you. Now, what this video will contain is brief highlights, observations, and analyses of Acts 1 and 2 of the Archon quest, as well as the Narcissenkreuz Institute quest and the Melazine World quest.
Yes.
My apologies for my pronunciation. I'm doing my best, but it probably won't get better.
The
Now, I will be
Narcissensen.
timestamping each section. However, I cannot guarantee content from each of these 3 quests won't bleed into each other because they are all actually shockingly connected.
Yes.
This is the only spoiler warning in the entire video, which means I should also tell you that I will be mentioning a couple of small things from Linny's story quest as well, but we won't really be doing a recap of it. It's just like a couple of minor things.
I'm not really doing story quests anyway, so that's okay.
As well at the very end of this video as per usual, so no leaving early or you're gonna miss them. Also, this video is by no means comprehensive, even though it's an hour long. There's just that much to cover in this new region, and there's stuff I'm not gonna
There's a
get
lot to cover in
Just assume
this.
if I've missed anything, it's probably gonna show up in a future video, okay? That was a lot of disclaimers, but let's not waste any more time and just dive right into it. Before everything else, we have to establish this whole prophecy business, because it's the real driving force between the whole Fontaine arc, I think. So it's important that you just know the contents of it pretty well.
I like her videos, but she goes too far with the theories, like the crazy person is trying to connect everything. Yes, so her theories can be pretty wild. Some of them are actually kind of make sense, and there are some of her theories that is like half confirmed later. So some of her theories are not actually that far-fetched. Like, I know that some of the events did not turn out exactly how she thought, like how she theorized that they would. But, you know, if she would have made 100% correct guess, then that would be a miracle. So I think that's pretty good. I like her videos. It's quite entertaining. Sometimes she does go too far. Sometimes I'm just like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. But I want to watch Mislin, or whatever her name is, her videos as well, because she pretty much does the same thing, but from like a different perspective. That's really nice.
Essentially, every person in Fontaine is born with sin that cannot be absolved through trials. One day, the water levels will rise, and all of the sinful people in Fontaine will be dissolved into the waters, with only the Hydro Archon remaining behind, crying tears upon her throne. Now, you may recall at the very beginning of this trailer, we can actually hear a voice saying, "The first sin is the fairest. Everyone sinks," which is obviously referencing this prophecy. The owner of this voice is named Agaria, and she seems to be the former Hydro Archon. I kind of think this is a Nevada situation where she's not really going to be a character, but we will hear her talk. If we break this prophecy down a bit, we can highlight the words sin, rising water levels, dissolving of people, and the Hydro Archon's tears.
Okay, so with the sin, Genshin loves referencing sin, because in the Calibert quest, there was the sinner as well. So
I don't really know what the sin is.
I don't know if
to,
it's
and
connected.
I don't think we have enough information to guess at it, but it does seem to be the reason why only the people of Fontaine dissolve in primordial water, so this sin at least is unique to Fontaine and not to that in general. And the dissolving in water thing has been a problem for Fontaine people since the very ancient times of Remuria. Now, Remuria is a civilization that was around during the time of, like, Deshret and the Gueli Assembly and, you know, that kind of thing. So, like, a really long time ago. Way pre-Cataclysm. That's technically pre-Archon War, too.
By the way, the original sins, humans are sinful by nature, does need to repent and forgive. And that's a Christian way of looking at it.
The rising water levels is another ongoing problem. Renee's investigation notes actually mentions that Fontaine has flooded at least twice prior to 400 years ago, and I'm not even sure if that counts the flood that ended Remuria. There's also a lot of recent evidence of increasing water levels, like seriously increasing water levels, since Lynette talks about this hill that she and Linny used to play on as kids as having been completely submerged. And that must have been like within the last 15 years.
Oh, that's where the term original sin comes from. Okay.
Water over a very short period of time. As for the Archon's tears, well, let's come back to that in another section of the video. For now, we've got some trials to get through. Let's start with the very first one. Linny being accused of the murder of one of his assistants. This whole fiasco started when Lenny spotted a pickpocket and ran off to catch him. Now, presumably, this thief named Lillian outran a master magician and Fatui Harbinger in training because she distracted him by dropping the stuff she stole?
Fatui Harbinger in training, what?
And I am not the only one. Cat in the Blue Hat made a very interesting theory video on this topic, suggesting that Lenny's entire court case was pre-planned and fabricated, and that Lillian was a Fatui operative. This is a really convincing video and definitely worth a watch. However, I'm not actually convinced that this is what happens, because the circumstances only seem suspicious on the surface. Admittedly, most of my reasoning comes from
That's
Lenny's
far-fetched,
story and the
yeah.
insight it gave into his nature. See, when he and Lynette were kids, they had a famous magician as a mentor for a very short period of time, and he was incredibly important to them. Now, this guy ended up being lied to by the people who were closest to him, who then manipulated him with those lies and eventually killed him. Even though Linny and Lynette had only known this guy for a couple of weeks, it still haunted them for 10 years, to the point where they lured these people out of hiding just to get their revenge. So Linny has this negative relationship with lies.
I love Cat and Blue Hat videos, but they never talk. You have to read everything. I like those videos too, Cat in the Blue Hat. I actually like the ones where they recap like trailers and all of that. The trial bit was a bit too rushed writing. Yeah, it wasn't too good.
Of this nature.
I didn't like that much either.
Harmless lies like, oh, I twisted my ankle, but not badly enough to stumble, or oh, I didn't catch the thief, but Lynette did. I went through the quest a few times, and when you're really paying attention to it, it becomes very obvious just how much Linny avoids lying whenever he can. Like, when we asked him what Fremine whispered to him, it was obviously confidential information, but Linny just told us it was about housework. And it was about housework. Work for the house of the hearth. He plays games with words, misdirects our attention, and omits details that may compromise his missions, for sure, but he tries so hard.
Oh, his
not
eyes
to
are so
lie.
pretty. I never
It's
noticed
like
his
how
eyes.
He didn't tell us he was a Fatui, but we also never asked, so he just didn't bring it up. And while I do think it's possible that Lillian is a Fatui operative, I think that it's
Wonder if it has something to do with the writer's strike. Do you reckon that they use like Hollywood writers to have a Genshin story? I mean, I guess why not, but
unlikely at this point, and I definitely don't think she's from the House of the Hearth. Personally, I do think that Linny caught Lillian, but I also think that he saw a bit of himself and Lynette in her circumstances of being a thief on the street and decided to invite her to the show himself, maybe to show her how to use her talent for something else. Everything else that followed after this was just a coincidence, I think. The pieces of the murder mystery just line up too well.
I don't think so.
And Linny seems actually genuinely regretful about the whole situation. So
I think Miura is very...
don't think
Yes,
he
I guess.
lied
It's
about
like the
something that
anime
happened to him,
writers.
especially when it's so closely connected to what happened to his mentor. Cowell really is the villain here. I think that Cowell noticed Linny making reservations for the Traveler in Paimon, and also Lillian, who was then going by the name of a famous Fontaine artist, Halsey. If Cowell wanted to spook or target someone close to Linny, then the best option was to pick someone that Linny made reservations for himself. Obviously, the Traveler and Paimon are Traveler and Paimon, so they are not from Fontaine, but the Fontaine artist Halsey was a pretty safe bet. How was he supposed to know that it wasn't really Halsey in that seat? It's not like he can do a background check. The internet doesn't exist into that. The Akasha shut down. So Cowell did rig the number generator, and he did wait in the tunnel for Lillian. Linny then entered the tunnel first to go check out the core of the Oratrice, and we'll come back to this a little bit later. And when he was down there, Lillian was lowered into the tunnel. Primordial waters were then dumped over her, but rendered ineffective since she was actually from Mondstadt and not Fontaine. And then Cowell got spooked because his plan didn't work, and they got into a small scuffle which had Lillian knocking Cowell out, then changing her clothes, stuffing him into a box, and hiding in a chest because she was spooked.
Hollywood Writers isn't the only one affected. It's Writers Guild for all entertainment that went on strike. If Hollywood is on strike, the whole Writers Guild is on strike. So I think Think of it as a writers' union. Okay, fair. It's possible that they have much more planned after the last two regions, and they wanted to keep pace. Yeah, I guess. The story written by China English version needs to be written and edited by English, like edited for English players. The most important bird. She ate Paimon's macarons. Yes. How dare she? Freaking Lillian. But yeah, like the first few quests, or in the first few Fontaine Archon quests, they were not. But they were good, but they were not as good as, you know, like some other Archon quests that we had before.
Then the box goes back on stage, the fireworks go off, and the rope for the water tank that had been sabotaged snapped, and Cowl was crushed under its weight inside the box. Now, unless Lillian knew Cowell's plan ahead of time, she didn't knowingly kill him. And I don't actually know if, when put on trial, the Oratrice would actually mark her as guilty, since it's really his own fault that he died, unless he was dead before he got crushed, or unless the Oratrice can't actually determine the truth. We'll come back to this. The biggest thing we learned from this trial is that there's a group of individuals who are intentionally dumping primordial waters on young Fontaine women and really causing them to dissolve into water. And frankly, I'm not sure Linny and Lynette knew about this ahead of time, or else I think things would have panned out a little bit differently. Or that, you know, Linny would just come forward earlier. On a more meta, higher level, the purpose of this trial is actually just to demonstrate how justice in Fontaine is supposed to be carried out. This is just a setup, so I'm gonna just Occam's razor this one, because this trial is supposed to be the baseline for all other trials to be compared against, okay?
I guess, yes.
Speaking of which, the trial in Act 2 is far less complicated, but has a lot more implications. As for the lore. Basically, the whole thing is just us running around looking for new leads about the truth behind the death of...
And the setup for dissolving Fontainian people, yes.
Nadia's father, and why all these women were disappearing. And also, why Child is the one being accused of the crime.
I love this! He's just there!
Suspect. They never explicitly explain this that I'm aware of, but if you think back to before we went to Linny's magic show, Child did beat up a bunch of cronies from the Confrérie of Cabriere back in Act 1, and the owner of the Confrérie is Marcel, aka Vacher. The man responsible for the trafficking of the drug synth, which is short for absinthe, I think, and responsible for dissolving all of those women.
Yes.
It's again an Occam's razor moment for me. Vacher is the big boss. They tried to pin the crime on some guy that did wrong by the whole organization, and it went horribly wrong, and then the real murderer was proven guilty. All right? That's the baseline. That's what happened.
Yes.
Fun fact, though, the names Vacher and Marcel both refer to two French serial killers, Joseph Vacher and Marcel-Henri Barbeau. Vacher was known as the French Ripper, a reference to London's Jack the Ripper, which I think is kind of cool and very appropriate.
Oh, it's not cool. It's a serial killer.
Anyway, what we learned from this trial is that Vacher used to be an adventurer, and during an underwater expedition, he and his girlfriend Vignier stumbled upon a spring of primordial waters, and when she touched it, her body dissolved into water. Vacher kind of lost it after this because he isn't a Fontaine native and therefore can't dissolve in order to follow her in death. So he decided to just, go around dissolving other young girls experimentally in order to figure out how to undissolve Vignier, which feels super weird to me because he didn't even know where she was, so how would he undissolve her even if he did have a method?
She doesn't speak French. She said at the beginning that sorry for the pronunciation, but yes. Oh yeah, you're right. It's a pretty good setup for by the way, Fontainian people do dissolve into water, by the way.
I don't understand. Unless he was trying to find a way to dissolve himself, in which case, why are you still dissolving only Fontaine people? You know they already dissolve. I don't understand this guy's logic, at all.
By the way, she's right. I didn't understand the logic why he kept dissolving chicks. And why was it good? I think I said it in the quest. It's after the 5th girl being dissolved and not coming back, You would like draw a conclusion, but he just didn't.
In any case, all waters in Fontaine converge at the Fountain of Lucine, a feature that predates the Opera House. So when Vignier and all other subsequent victims dissolved, they ended up at the fountain, eventually merging together to form an oceanid. Now, Lynette tells us something kind of interesting early in Act 1. She says that our tears carry our strongest emotions, and tears, being water, fall under the jurisdiction of the Hydro Archon. Interestingly enough, the very first oceanid ever to exist was said to have been born of the first Hydro Archons, tears, so she must have been birthed from a very powerful emotion indeed. And yes, we'll come back to this. And yes, I do want to acknowledge that it's said, therefore it's just a legend, and that there is some dispute over its veracity and whether or not oceanids existed like way before then. But I digress. I think the pattern is still interesting.
Okay. I like the Archon quest, but oh my god, there are so many holes in the story all over the place. I know, right? Like, there wasn't this much holes in the other Archon quest. I mean, the Mondstadt Archon quest was pretty simple. The Leo Archon quest wasn't too complicated either. The Inazuma Archon quest doesn't really have that many holes in it. Like, now that I think back on it, I can't really name them. Probably if I go back and would have watched the whole thing, I probably would notice some holes in the story, but not on top of my head. And the Sumeru Archon quest was just good. Like, that was pretty solid. But this one is not, I don't know. It's clear they didn't use the same writers in each region. Yeah. And like Mondstadt's story quest is pretty basic, but they were like a relatively, like not a relatively small team, but you know, they were just starting out the game. So it shows that it's really a prologue, but oh well.
So Vacher gets drowned by Vignier, and that's the end of that. Except that I skipped over the part where we had to go get a verdict on Child's case. Of course, this should have been very straightforward and just a formality, since we know that he's innocent. We literally just caught the real killer. But the Oratrice judged Child as guilty anyway.
What?
Now, I don't think the Oratrice is rigged, okay? I don't think that's what's
No,
going on
I don't
here.
think so
that's
either.
the plot. I am, however, convinced that his
Relatively loud, they were a small team. Yeah, exactly. So, and it shows on Mondstadt that they were really just starting out. By the time we get to Sumeru, you can tell like how much people's work went into it. Like, especially the fucking Aranara quest. The group of people who created the Aranara quest should not be allowed to create quests after this. They can do whatever else on the game, not quests. Because her lineage should have been crushed too. Because of the... Right, so because she... Why was she supposed to be crushed? Because she wasn't in the tank and she wasn't in the box. I mean, she was in the tank in the first place. But then the tank didn't snap. Like the tank's cord rope thing didn't snap. But maybe he weakened, like the culprit weakened it after the performance so it would crush the right person. I don't know. Because I think the tank didn't fall down because he weakened the rope after that, because Lynette was not supposed to be the target. But no, because the fireworks burned the rope, and the fireworks came after the you know, when she was in the box. She then went out of the box.
so-called guilt is related to that it that he unlocked. The it that his master Skirk recognized in him back when he was 14 and fell into the abyss. And this it is probably what's screwing up his control over his vision. Although I have an alternate theory on this, but I need more time to cook before we talk about it. I think, however, what the oratrice does isn't so much as judging guilt.
The fool's back would be under the floor. She can, like, I don't know, she can just come out of the box. I don't know, Cactus, but that's also a pretty valid point, but... And sanity, but both of you. But so if she was under the floor, she would have seen what's going on with Lillian and that other guy, though. Anyways.
But recognizing sin. If you look back at the prophecy, sin recognition makes more sense than judging guilt. Whatever is inside child is related to the abyss, and the abyss would certainly be considered a sinful power in the eyes of a god machine like the oratrice, especially if it's sentient in the way Linny suspects it is.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure I
makes
can make a
sense.
case to support this argument, but this requires knowledge of events from 400 years ago in Fontaine. Specifically, the events revolving around the Narcissenkreuz Institute. Again, sorry for the pronunciation. I'm gonna mispronounce it a lot.
Narcissenkreuz, that sounds so German, not French, but anyways. It's a bit of they didn't fully explain the trick. That's also true. See, another hole that we found on the Archon quest. It really wasn't the best Archon quest that I've seen, but it was alright.
As far as the events of the quest go, it's actually pretty simple. We met a very tiny Oceanid named Anne, who asked us to help her and her hydromimic friends save the Princess Lyris, who is trapped inside of a big tower. Very basic, very straightforward, right? The underwater location is actually a place called the Narcissenkreuz Institute, which was a type of orphanage for gifted children 500 years ago, and all of the characters in this quest were kids here, except for Lyris, who was most likely the orphanage director and also an Oceanid herself. And this is why Anne and the Mimics say that they have Princess Lyris's time, as they are fragments made by Lyris. We'll get to the details of this later, promise.
Okay.
Basically, Anne, whose full name...
It is German, at least not French. Yeah, this I was like, it sounds so German, but we already had one set, which is based on Germany. Anyways.
Is Marianne, died in an accident and was reborn with Lyris's power as a tiny Oceanid. In the process, she lost a lot of her memories and kind of regressed back to her childhood. If you've read the Nymph Stream artifact set, which I do not expect you to have done, it talks about how all of these kids at the orphanage used to play make-believe stories about heroes slaying dragons, and this entire quest is basically Anne play-acting these fragmented memories of hers over and over and over again, believing them to be real. And that's why at the end, the human-shaped Marianne laments the fact that Anne couldn't have just remained ignorant in a dream. She wanted to go back to simpler times before things went wrong, when she and her friends were just kids playing pretend heroes. But let's pause here, because as simple as this premise sounds, these kids are critical to Fontaine's current circumstances, as many of them are very, very famous historical figures. For Fontaine, anyway. And these same kids are connected to the Melusines. So, yeah, understanding who they are and what they did is...
So, wait, who are they?
So now for the history lesson. About 500...
Okay. Look, European countries are... Look, European countries are not one country because one family wanted their family to run every country. So it may be German, but many times has France and had German kings and queens, lol. Yeah. As a European, I can second that. Like, Hungary's kings and queens were a lot of the times also kings and queens of Austria, and maybe the Czech Republic, maybe sometimes Poland, maybe sometimes Croatia. It's a lot. Jacob, someone nice.
100 years ago, a little bit before the Conrian Cataclysm, Fontaine had a lot of trouble maintaining order in its undercity, Fleuve Cendre, where the less fortunate citizens of Fontaine congregated. This place was basically lawless and full of gang violence and all other kinds of similar shenanigans, up until a man named Eduardo Baker seized control of it.
Eduardo Baker? That's like a full-on English name, what?
And frankly, Eduardo...
I mean, I know that Fontaine is not only based on France, but also based on Victorian England, in a way. So I'm not that surprised.
The backstory reads like he's some kind of young mob boss, of all things. Now that obviously didn't sit that well with Elaine.
With Eduardo, but the baker is very
Law
English.
Enforcement eventually raided Fleuve Cendres and arrested him. Eduardo was sentenced to exile in the Girdle of Sands, but he managed to escape and then took a bunch of the Mason Gardiennage officers hostage with him into the town of Poisson, who then granted him asylum. Negotiations between the Court of Fontaine and Eduardo's group in Poisson carried on for quite a while until the Marechaussee Phantoms laid siege to Poisson and set the town ablaze. A lot of people died. Eduardo also died in this conflict, and his son Jacob was taken into the Narzenskreuz Institute alongside the now-deceased mayor of Poisson's son, René. There they befriended Elaine and Marianne.
I see.
Anne is Marianne, Al is Elaine, Jack is Jacob, Nay is
Jack is Jacob, I see.
René, and Colonel Kate is Carter, who we'll talk about later. Now, I think Petichot is supposed to be Marianne, but Anne, as an Oceanid, probably isn't sure how to reconcile watching herself from an outside perspective, so she doesn't really have a name and is just called Little Cabbage.
Little Cabbage!
So these kids spent several years together under the care of Director Lyris, the Oceanid, and the Vice Director Basil Elton, who was a military veteran and former attendee of this orphanage. And she's also based off of Basil Elton, a lighthouse keeper from an H.P. Lovecraft novel called The White Ship. Now, I kind of think it's weird that an Oceanid and a military veteran were chosen to raise a bunch of kids. But seeing how these kids all mostly turned out to be the world-changing prodigies that they were, I kind of gotta wonder if this was like a really special orphanage. Or if it was all just coincidence. It could be either.
I don't know.
Now, everything was fine again until the cataclysm struck. Lyris then had to go with her Oceanid sisters to help her Hydro Archon push back the abyss that was flowing out from the Girdle of Sands. So she left the children in the care of two trusted adults who had grown up at the orphanage. René and Jacob went with the former journalist, Carl Ingold, while Marianne and Elaine went with the Marechaussee Phantom, Emmanuel Guillotine. I think this was supposed to be...
hang on, again?
René and Jacob went with the former journalist, Carl
Ingold, yeah.
while Marianne and Elaine went with the Marechaussee Phantom, Emmanuel Guillotine.
Yes.
I think this was supposed to be temporary, because Vice Director Basil set out to fight the dragon Elenus, a creation of Rhine daughters, kind of like Durin, and the kids seemed to believe that she'd return for them eventually. And she never did because she didn't make it out alive, although Elenus was eventually subdued. The Hydro Archon Agaria met her end in Sumeru, leaving behind a prophecy for Farina who would take her place. Lyris seems to have lost all of her strength and presumably regressed back into a small childish form, kind of like Anne. Now, as the cataclysm drew to a close, Carl Ingold took his newly acquired children, René and Jacob, on expeditions with him, most notably to Sumeru.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Baker as a name came from England that made everyone have a family name. People just pick things like they live, like Hill, River, their job, Thatcher, Baker. That's what the Hungarian surnames are like, mostly, as well. Except for my surname, which I'm not gonna say out loud, because my surname is actually like a male name. So it's probably one of my ancestors was called that.
Okay. This is where
mine is German.
Oh, okay. A little bit special. During one expedition, René realized that his and Jacob's bodies were not like normal humans, and instead bore more similarity to that of the sacred lotus found in the Vorukasha oasis.
Hang on, this is again?
René realized that his and Jacob's bodies were not like normal humans, and instead bore more similarity to that of the sacred lotus found in the Vorukasha oasis. In other words, they were somehow related to the remains of the former Hydro Archon, which is kind of weird given the timeline, and it's part of the reason why I suspect Lyris knew there was something peculiar about these orphaned kids that she took in right from the start.
Okay.
Rene proved himself to be a child prodigy, performing complete analyses on the ruined Conrian technology in the desert and their azosite energy sources. And
I kind of missed all of this.
All his baby teeth. So it should be around this time that he began studying abyssal energy as well, claiming that it had some kind of higher authority over Teyvat than elemental energy, as it could possess a will, so something like sentience.
That's
Jacob
also
eventually
true.
fell ill due to malnutrition, and in order to save him, Rene leveraged this abyssal power that he'd been studying. This only succeeded because of their unique non-human constitutions.
Wait, what? Okay. Quite hard to put the pieces together. Yeah, my brain is melting. She's not even theorizing at this part. This is actually in the game. Like, this is all confirmed because she's in the... Okay, let's summarize what we've learned about this quest part. I did not know this, and I'm trying to follow, and I'm just... Oof.
This is important for later. Now, as Rene continued his research alongside Jacob, he realized that the world of Teyvat had been through several apocalyptic cycles, and that this
is full on Honkai. Sorry, the world has been through multiple apocalyptic cycles. This is a concept that comes from Honkai Impact. In Honkai Impact, the Honkai destroys humanity and civilization every 50,000 years. And then the cycle starts again. So it's pretty much the same thing. Meanwhile, my understanding is a Brett falsely accuses people for show, yes.
current cycle was the last one. There will be no new civilizations after this one. This is the prophecy that was made by his world formula, and it's a conclusion that other civilizations, like the ancient Prefontaine civilization of Remuria, also seemed to come to.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. I see that. Yeah, okay. Now everything that I know from the Melusine quest, like the two Melusine quests and the Narcissistic Cruise quest, kind of like coming together. Now I start to understand.
Fontaine would meet its end in another flood, so Rene made it his life's mission to see that humanity would survive at any cost. Once Rene and Jacob came of age and returned to Fontaine, they joined the Institute of Natural Philosophy and reconnected with Elaine and Marianne, the former of which had also joined the Institute. Elaine had proved himself to be something of a mechanical genius and was working on revolutionary technology like artificial intelligence with the help of his assistant Carter. Marianne had joined the Marechaussee Phantoms like her adopted father had, but often visited her adopted brother at the Institute. Elaine would then design a robotic dog named Seymour for her to help her with her work and to keep her safe. This is the boar mimic dog thing in the quest that we call Mori, and yes, it's the same robot dog that you find in the Melusine quest.
I see. Okay.
Renee's research re-centered on Abyss-related stuff.
Wait, what is this place? I don't think I've been here with the black mud and everything. I don't think I've seen this place. I mean, I was here at this institute that underwater photographist things, but I don't remember this.
And his determination to see that humanity survived this apocalypse led him to form his own organization.
Oh, it's in the institute. I really need to go back and have a thorough look around, because I haven't seen this.
The Narcissenkreuz Ordo, or Order of the Daphation, secret. Humanity survived this apocalypse led him to form his own organization secretly. The Narcissenkreuz Ordo, or Order of the Daffodil Cross. Rene
Wait! Narciss? That is what daffodil is in German? Because it's the same word in Hungarian. It's Narciss. That makes so much more sense now.
Concluded through his research that only evolved humans, or so he called neo-human, did through
hang on. Sorry, I keep going back. I just every sentence is just has so much information and my brain is slow. Those two guys near the statue of the Seven will lead you there, I think. Oh, from Fontaine. Okay. I mean the Court of Fontaine. Okay.
Order of the Daffodil Cross. Rene concluded through his research that only evolved humans, or so he called neo-humans, could survive such an apocalypse, and he began performing experiments with the abyssal dragon Elenus, having Jacob consume its flesh, which made him a lot stronger and
Fair.
caused Jacob to gain the body of an abyssling. Now, I think
Oh,
this is the very
God.
first instance of this happening to a human that we know of that's recorded, but consecrated beasts were actually once just normal animals that ate the flesh of gods and then mutated in a very similar way
Wait,
to how
really?
Jacob did. So Jacob's condition is likely not an isolated incident.
Yeah, I understand that Jacob eat Elenias's flesh to become like this, but I didn't know that all those animals were just normal animals and they became like this after eating God's flesh. Interesting.
Which implies that the Abyss Order may have actually eaten the flesh of gods at one point, which is kind of a funny thing to think about. Anyway, during this time, Carter's health began to decline really rapidly, so Rene tried to perform the same abyssal treatment that he did on Jacob onto Carter, hoping it would turn him into a neo-human and then allow him to recover.
Well, that didn't go well, did
not.
it?
Instead, Carter appears to have dissolved into a weird lump of flesh, and Rene realized then and there that his neo-human plan would no longer work.
Is this Carter? Is this Don't tell me this is Carter. I need to do this quest. Don't tell me this is Carter.
Because the procedure did not work on normal humans, only those like him or Jacob with unique constitutions. He would need to find another plan.
Oh,
but
God.
one without the help of Elaine, because Elaine was
Carter.
furious with Rene over the fate of Carter. Rene had genuinely thought his plan would work, and he regretted his broken relationship with Elaine and really wanted to make things right. Did not go about it a good way. It should be around this time that Rene and Jacob found what was left of Director Lyris, and they managed to convince her to help them find a new solution for humanity's survival. It's a little bit muddy here, but I think Lyris is the one who shows Rene the primordial waters. Once he had a good grasp on these waters' properties, Rene came up with a new plan. Instead of making neo-humans, he could dissolve the people of Fontaine into one liquid mass using the primordial waters.
What?
By discarding their physical forms like oceanids, the people of Fontaine should be able to survive the apocalypse. They tested this theory on Rene first. Rene declared that he will become reborn through water and that he would return and save the people of Fontaine, which is very fitting for him because his name, Rene, comes from Renatus, which means to be reborn, and his last name, Petrichor, is the scent of rain. So he's reborn through water.
Wait, Rene is the one that's the son of the deceased mayor of Poisson, right?
Kind of. Anyway, the ritual succeeded, and although the aftermath is also a bit murky, surprise, surprise, it seems like Rene managed to not only transform himself, but managed to revive Carter by absorbing his memory from within the primordial waters. Now, Rene must have thought that reviving Carter would please Elaine, and
how did this come from that quest? I played the quest on stream. How the fuck did this happen?
then allow them to mend their friendship. And it did not. But regardless, Neo Rene discovered that this whole dissolving process allowed for the memories and skills of other dissolved people to be absorbed by other people, much like how an oceanid can absorb other oceanids. They successfully dissolve and absorb some people and then realize that these people can basically be reduced into a liquid consciousness and then later maybe implanted into robot bodies. But robotic bodies at scale would require the help of Elaine, the mechanical genius, and Elaine wanted nothing to do with it or Rene. And after a skirmish that he seems to have won, Elaine broke off all ties with Rene.
Okay.
Rene was then forced to execute his original plan of dissolving all of Fontaine
I think Rene's thing is from the okay.
into basically what is one gigantic oceanid. Yeah, I know, Rene was then forced to execute his original plan of dissolving all of Fontaine into basically what is one gigantic oceanid.
Well, that's pretty freaking
It's
big.
a little insane. Marianne and Elaine learned of this new plan and gathered a small army of mechas and Marachusei phantoms to stop them. And the confrontation took place inside of the dragon, Elenis, because that's where a lot of the experiments were done.
Yes,
Marianne
makes
appears to
sense.
have perished in this struggle, which may have caused Lyris to have some kind of change of heart and betray Renee and Jacob. Jacob survived the whole ordeal, but Renee's fate seems to be a little bit unclear, although he likely perished. Marianne, on the other hand, may have been reborn within Lyris, like kind of absorbed and then spat out as a little baby Oceanid, who would then gravitate back down towards the old orphanage where some of her happiest memories were, and then she just kind of stayed there for 400 years.
Yeah.
Elaine also survived this ordeal and proceeded to spend the rest of his life buried in his research out of grief. Later, he founded the Fontaine Research Institute of Kinetic Energy Engineering and passed away of old age.
Okay.
Now, all of this...
So nice. At least someone actually lived out their life and passed away of old age. There are 4 or 6 connected casts. Each has a little info that points out one to outcome. Hang on, what? Which is being explained to us right now. I see. Okay, I would have never picked this one up on my own, by the way. But
This will become more relevant to the greater plot of Fontaine in the Archon quest for reasons that I think are probably pretty obvious. It seems to be the source of all the primordial water nonsense that's going on.
you get a
And,
little
the Hydro
tiny
Archon's
shards
prophecy
given.
seems to
random place,
reference
yes.
Renee's original plans. So there's that. But we're not done yet. We still have one more quest to cover.
I picked up some things, but not a lot of it. Yeah, I would not have done
And it
that.
is a shorter one, thankfully. So that whole conflict inside of Elenis that killed Renee and stuff, that was important for another reason too.
Wait, hang on, what?
Killed Renee and stuff, that was important for another reason too. See, a bunch of the machines and mechas exploded during this confrontation with the Marashuse Phantoms, and the fragments of these machines cut into the dragon's insides, and somehow this explosion created the entire race of Melazines.
I
And that is
remember
why all
this.
Melazines are born with an odd mechanical token. These are fragments of the exploded people-dissolving machines that Renee made, as well as the Phantom's combat mechas. At least I'm assuming Renee had machines. Just, I'm guessing. Okay. At the very least, it's
Navia
part
is
of
so
the mechas.
beautiful.
So that's the...
I just hear my own brain going, who are you people? No, I still follow. I still understand who these people are. The names are a little bit mushy of who's whom, but I still follow. Like, I know who these people are. So at least I'm halfway there. Ah, we're living on a prayer. Okay.
The birth of the Melazines. As for the quest, it's pretty simple. We basically just followed a Melazine named Mamere who loved to paint, but whose paintings no one ever appreciated or understood except for the robotic dog named Seymour. And yes, that is the same dog that Elaine Guillotine made for his sister Marianne. Now, Mamere could hear the voice of her father, who we later learn is actually Elenis. And after we helped her out, she wanted to paint us something as a thank you gift, but was out of paint, so we helped her gather more material for paint.
Yeah.
Only to later find out that the primary ingredient of Mamere's paints were her father's blood. Now, you remember Jacob?
Brutal.
Yeah? Renee's best buddy, adopted brother, and accomplice in everything. Well, he has also been trying to collect the blood of Elenis in order to revive the dragon over the last 400 years, and that is also why he was after Mamere's paintings. Will he manage to do it? It's unclear. He apparently has enough blood to pull this off, but we got to talk to Elenis himself, and he doesn't seem to want to be revived, so who knows what'll happen.
Okay.
Elenis is quite the interesting character, because
I haven't recognized any names since the Warshare, dude. Yeah, because you don't pay attention to the Narcissus Cruise and the Melazine quest, I think. Which is fine, because they are world quests and they are not voiced, so a lot of people just kind of like skip over them. But yeah, I do recognize these names, and I do recognize what's going on.
knows what'll happen there. Elenis is quite the interesting character.
Paint with the blood and exploring the Fontaine Institute, yes. Oh, and exploring the, yes.
Because he's
Yes.
a Durin that we actually get to talk to. As you may recall...
I didn't even recognize what you just said, Jesus.
Durin was described as a horrifying dragon that brought untold destruction to Mondstadt during the Cataclysm, and Elenus was really no different. But if you read the lore of the Festering Desire and the Dragonspine Spear, you kind of get a glimpse of the world through Durin's eyes. And the way he talks isn't what you'd expect of a mindless Destructo dragon. I mean, he calls Dvalin a lovely, tender lover when he tore through Durin's neck to kill him, and then he says he'll come back someday so they can sing and dance and play together. It's not really the mentality of something that goes around destroying everything.
Okay, so Alinius is pretty much Rhindotter's other creation. Jesus, Rhindotter did a lot of bad things. And she also did Albedo.
What we can say is that the way Durin saw the world and the way the world saw Durin were two very different things. And this carries over to both Elenus and all of the Melazines. Now, Elenus tells us that he didn't realize his expression of happiness was destroying the world around him and making everyone else suffer. So when he found all of this out, he became really sad and just super depressed.
Aww.
And then he kind of sort of made friends with Renee and Jacob.
He didn't really, not really friends. He was simply intrigued by them and felt less lonely when they were around. Okay, thank you for the correction. They were not friends, but I love the correction up here. Albedo, I know him. I'd marry him. Jesus. So Albedo's mother / creator, Rhindottir, she was the one that created Durin, whose remains is in Dragonspine. And she, like, if Elinus is like Durin, then Rhindottir created Elinus too. He observed them crawling out of this dead body, yes.
And later on, when they died and everything exploded inside of him, suddenly Elenus had a bunch of kids, and also the Breacher Primus, which Elenus describes as his cells. So all of a sudden, Elenus is like, whoa, this is really cool, I can create stuff, I'm happy now. But you see the dichotomy of perspective here, right? Like, it's a big deal. It's even visible in the Breacher Primus, who are very violent to basically everyone except the Melazines, who think that they're, like, cute? And the Melazines keep them as pets? I mean, having unusual taste is one thing, but this is kind of on a different level. Although it's not exactly clear how different these levels of perception are until you do the Book of Esoteric Revelations subquest with Matilla and travel to these ruins of the unified civilization that are floating in space under a shattered sky.
She also created Naughty Puppies and then the Golden Wolf Lord, yes. Yes, she did. Well, are the Rift Hounds really Rhindottir's creations? Because it seems like they are coming from the Abyss, but do we have evidence that it was Rhindottir who created those things? She created a shit ton of them, by the way.
Which, by the way, this is supposed to be like the future.
Yes, 100% it was, okay.
That, Renee saw. And travel to these ruins of the unified civilization that are floating in space under a shattered sky. Which, by the way, this is supposed to be like the future that,
the shattered sky.
Supposedly. Like, this should be the apocalypse that he saw at the end of the world formula, but that's a side note.
Alright, so I love the shattered sky here. I love that the sky is fake, and I love that the sky is shattering in Novilet's demo video as well. It's just way too much happening with the full sky at the moment, and I don't know if I'm ready for it. I thought you just made the Albedo and the plant that impostered him to Kingscar. Rhindottir did a bunch of things. Apparently she created the Rift Hounds, the Golden Wolf Lord, Durin, the dragon that remains can be found on Dragonspine, created the other dragon, Elinus, then, apparently. Yeah, she created a bunch of stuff.
But how we saw them, how the Travelers saw them, was just this horrible...
Hang on.
This is supposed to be like the future that Renee saw, supposedly. Like, this should be the apocalypse that he saw at the end of the world formula, but that's a side note. But how we saw them, how the Travelers saw them, was just this horrible, tragic scene of ruin and destruction. But what Ken Attila saw was like a calm, serene forest and a beautiful garden. Where we saw rift hounds, she saw a cute puppy. And honestly, this made me wonder if Tevat is almost superimposed with another reality. If one side
That's
is destroyed and the
interesting.
other is beautiful, and then vice versa. And those who have special eyes who can see the quote-unquote truth, like the Melazines, see the other reality, and not the one that most of Tevat perceives. And then that made me think about Kaya with like one eye being covered all the time. Like, does the other eye work, but it only ever sees like the other side, like that superimposed reality? And is that actually what it's talking about, like in the book about Fischl? Like where she has one eye that sees the truth and then the other one doesn't? Like, is it the same thing? I don't know, but now I'm suspicious.
That is so true. One of you guys says that the book of Princess Fischl's, like the flowers for Princess Fischl's, is actually more important than we thought. I don't know who said it, but yeah, I understand now what they mean. Holy fun.
Actually, it could be something like how in horror movies a protagonist will be starving and find a kitchen full of like delicious, freshly cooked food and then start eating, only for the illusion to finally wear off, and then they realize they were eating something they definitely should not have been eating, and then the kitchen wasn't clean at all, but like a cesspit of mold and decay. It reminds me of that just a little bit. But then I also kind of wonder, like,
It was me, okay.
What we know
Yeah.
about Elenis and Durin and like how they perceive things. If that same perspective applies to Rhindaughter's other creations, like the Rift Hounds, like do the Rift Wolves think they're actually playing with us like a dog would play fetch or whatever, but they're actually really hurting us? And on that note, do Hilichurls see each other as normal humans, but then see us as monsters and that's why they attack us? I know it seems kind of
That could
far-fetched, but
be,
the idea kind of messes me up inside.
I mean, yeah,
Speculation
that is
aside,
a
if you do finish
speculation.
the quest and then help Mimere fix the robot dog Seymour, the dog will set out on a journey to find his owner, Marianne. And if you head to the headquarters for the Narcissan Quartz Ordo, you will run into both Anne and Seymour, who will have an amnesia-filled reunion that leaves the door wide open for future quests, which I'm very excited for.
Oh, they
This is
actually
an optional thing to do,
reunite?
though, so if you haven't done it, go
Oh,
do it. It's very short, very heartwarming, and very sweet. And also, you get a lot of luxurious trysts.
oh my god, I need to
And the
do
room
this.
is
That
neat.
sounds
I
so
mean, that's where I'm
cool.
sitting right now in the, yeah, it's a cool place.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Time to shift gears a bit now, though, and talk about some shared themes that might be relevant later on. Prior to 4.0, I kind of figured Scaramouche was right, and that Arlecchino was unstable, unhinged, and just batshit crazy. But after talking with Linny and reading his and Lynette's stories, and after reading some lines from Arlecchino herself on her kids' updated character cards, I'm kind of convinced that she's just an unhinged mama bear instead.
Unhinged
protective
mama
of
bear,
her
I like
kids,
that.
Albeit still a kind of bit crazy because she did apparently murder the former head of the House of Hearth while she was a child, so no denying that. But I think she might be more like an unstable mama bear. Like I said, like she gives mama bear energy, okay? Now, I believe, with no basis whatsoever, that Arlecchino will be put on trial and...
Yep, I met them and then they leave. I tried to find them. Oh, fuck no. Also, Arlecchino being batshit, I mean, she is, you guys don't know, but if Chachak was here, that would be kind of nice. Because he knows Raven from Honkai Impact Third, who also runs an orphanage and looks and feels exactly like Arlecchino. Like, she is so Arlecchino. Hang on. Let me just find a picture of her. You guys probably know it because I've played this. Raven, Honkai Impact Third. So this is Raven. And she feels exactly like Arlecchino. With all of these. Just look at her. She is a mercenary who runs an orphanage. Okay, I don't speak Italian. Yeah, that's right.
falsely accused of theft, likely of the Gnosis. If the Oratrice ends up being a Gnosis-powered machine, then her investigation into it would therefore make sense. And if the Gnosis ends up missing, that means we'd have a trial without the Oratrice. Now, why does this matter, you might wonder, and why am I specifically choosing theft as the crime? Without confusing this section too much, the Nartzenkreuz Institute is full of Alice in Wonderland references. The achievement you get for completing it is even called Anne in Wonderland, and the Nymph Stream artifact set talks about a fell dragon over and over and over again that it later names the Jabberwock, which is from a poem in Alice and Wonderland where a young hero slays the monster with the holy sword.
I trained my Zhongli. I already regret this bowl. Why? Zhongli is a really good shielder, though.
Kids at the Institute play act this story all the time, and the Nymph Stream set talks about how the role of the dragon or hero can be switched depending on the viewer's perspective. Now, Renee was often described as the hero of these tales, but by the end of the Nymph Stream artifact set, he was described as the dragon, making him the Jabberwock, the monster, and the villain of the story. And that's very fitting because it's his work that matches the prophecy of destruction that Agaria left behind. So will Renee make an appearance? Well, we'll do a deep dive in a separate video, but that would make Arlecchino the hero, but from a different perspective, you could call her the monster. You see what I'm...
Hate him as a person. His animation for skills feels clunky and long. You mean his ultimate or just his normal, like his skill? But yeah, look, he's very useful. He's like a utility character. I wouldn't necessarily regret polling for him because he's very useful in the Abyss, especially if you like full on build him on his shield. Like you're pretty much just like untouchable, indestructible with his shield. So I wouldn't regret polling for him necessarily. I don't know. I kind of used to it. His skill is not that long. I mean, at least for me. Anyways.
I'm trying to say here, like, the monster and the hero are kind of interchangeable, and it is a matter of perspective. Now that aside, in the Alice in Wonderland books, the Knave, which is also Arlecchino's codename, is put on trial by the Queen of Hearts, and is then falsely accused of theft. The Mad Hatter, who has also been put on trial for murder, well, murdering the time, but whatever, he's called to defend the Knave. The Mad Hatter in this case should be Linny, with Lynette as the March Hare and Fremine as the Dormouse, since Linny was the one put on trial for murder earlier in the quest, and would be available to defend the Knave since he's her successor, and also because Child is in jail. And I don't think...
Linny is Arlecchino's successor.
Maybe, who knows? In this trial, the judge is the King of Hearts, who in this case is Nouvellette, whereas Farina should be the Queen of Hearts, who's leading the prosecution of the Knave because the Knave stole something of hers. In the books, it's the Queen of Hearts' tarts. Okay, so I'm still holding out that what if Nouvellette is like a part Archon? Like, what if Farina, the Oratrice, and Nouvellette together, the three of them is one Archon? That would make sense, in a way. In Genshin, it should probably be the Gnosis, right? Eventually, the Knave is found innocent, but a verdict is never properly reached because Alice throws a fit. But this would end up lining up with a verdict never properly being reached in Genshin because either the Oratrice isn't functioning because it's missing its Gnosis, or the trial is interrupted by something big and nasty. Something like another Harbinger, maybe with different objectives from Arlecchino.
So we have Child, Arlecchino, and maybe another one coming?
There's no possible way that Arlecchino and Child are the only Harbingers in Fontaine. We've only dealt with 5 out of 11 Harbingers so far, I think, right? We've dealt with Child, Scaramouche, Signora, kind of Dottore, and now Arlecchino.
Yes.
We haven't met anyone else in person. So there's no way it's only these 2 here. And I will present my theory on what I think is going to happen in its own video, but for now, given how I believe that Arlecchino's presence in Fontaine is a reference to the Knave that went on trial and how deeply connected Alice in Wonderland is to the Nartzenkreuz.
I love that Linny is actually the heir of Arlecchino. That's so interesting. I don't know where they got it from, probably his story quest. Harbinger in training. Too much thinking. Just tell me how to who to fight. Yes, Kingsguard.
Institute and the fact
It's
that
okay,
Arlecchino literally
Kingsguard.
runs an orphanage that regularly creates super elite soldiers, many of whom seem like they're the results of some unethical experiments. It makes me wonder if she may be more intricately connected to the Arts and Crafts Institute. She is from Fontaine, after all. She's native.
She's
and
beautiful.
that she's mostly human, except for her black hands and striking eyes. So it makes you wonder if she wasn't also
Wait,
the
that's
subject
not
of
a
some
pair of gloves?
questionable experiments at some point, and if the research was based on Renee's work. And I don't think it's a coincidence that child, who has the traits of a neo-human just like Jacob, is the harbinger that's present in Fontaine.
Okay,
Well,
fair.
I think that just about does it for the quest recaps, but I have a bunch of little observations and tidbits that I want to share, so it's time once again for all my miscellaneous mini theories and observations, starting off with the chasm. When you're in the prophecy area, if you turn back and look around through the portal that you came from, you'll see an area that matches the room Halfdan died in back in the chasm.
Oh,
If you
wow,
recall,
okay.
The water from the upside-down fountain in that room brought peace to the ever-suffering Dainsleif, and the Abyss Lector that we found there thought that the water there might be able to be used to undo the curse of the people of Conria.
Oh, that's probably
In
primordial
light of
water.
new knowledge, these waters might actually have been waters of the primordial sea.
Okay, yeah, that
Doubly
makes
likely
sense.
Since the primordial waters flow upwards, and the chasm fountain is upside down. Moving on, I just kind of want.
But what if Teyvat is upside down? Like, we already kind of touched upon it, that a lot of us think, myself kind of included, I'm not convinced 100%, but there's a lot of theory that Teyvat is actually upside down. And the primordial water in that spring also like drips upwards. So what if it actually drips down and flows downwards? But given that we are upside down, it looks like that it flows upwards. If that makes sense. But yeah, it's probably that fountain is, you know, primordial or seawater. The Wolf of the North is named the North Window is also south of Mondstadt, yes. So yeah, probably in that fountain it's probably primordial seawater because it flows upwards, like that spring that we found. So
Upwards, and the chasm fountain is upside down. Moving on, I just kind of want to talk about Farina for a second.
She
Farina
bitch.
is really an interesting character as far as Archons are concerned, because don't let her fischl-like persona fool you. This Archon is incredibly insecure, horribly lonely, and a bit cowardly. And
my god, now that she mentions that she is kind of like Fischl, I can't let it go. My god, how did I not notice before that she's kind of like Fischl in a way? God.
she's very scared and under a lot of unwanted pressure. I say cowardly because although she talks a good game, when given the chance to show her raw power in combat or otherwise, she gets really nervous and sputters some excuses onto why
I
she
noticed
can't
that a
do
long
it,
time
and
ago.
just
I
kinda
never
backs
did
out,
make the
you know?
connection
I
though.
call her scared because she sought the traveler out first. I see this as an attempt to gain the upper hand as quickly as possible. See, Farina has a very vast information network, and she's heard that in every nation that the traveler visited, massive upheaval changes have taken place. I personally think she's terrified of the prospect that the arrival of the traveler could trigger the beginning of this prophecy that was left by her predecessor. Now, as for the rest of this claim, well, she kind of just says them all herself. At the midway point between Acts 1 and 2, if you go into the Fountain of Lucine, you can actually hear her.
So interminable. So lonely. Just how much longer?
That is so heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, Farina's really just a scared kid.
Let me tame the brat. They both shouldn't be off. God damn it. Yeah, I've heard that, like, I've heard about Farina sobbing, and you can hear it in the fountain if you're right there at the right time. And that kind of, it's quite sad, actually. So, I don't know.
Putting up a really strong front. She's definitely a lot less mature than Nahida, in any case. Speaking of maturity, though, let's talk a little bit about Nouvellette. I'll just say it.
Yes.
I think Nouvellette is the Hydro Dragon taken human form, and I really doubt many will disagree with me at this
Yes.
point. Obviously, there's that whole thing at the start of the Archon quest where Fremen
Yes,
tells
we
us
all
about
know
the legend
this.
that says the Hydro Dragon's mood affects the weather, and through Acts 1 and 2, we see Nouvellette's mood suspiciously corresponding to the rain. He is surprisingly empathetic and likely feels down after every trial, which is why on most days there's a trial, it rains. He also has those slit pupils akin to all other dragons and bishops. And
He
weirdly
sounds
fits
actually-
this riddle from volume
They're confirmed it basically in the web event, yes. So we know that he is a dragon.
5 of the... And he weirdly fits this riddle from volume 5 of the Byakuyakoku Chronicle.
Byakuyakoku,
That's
Jesus.
really hard to say quickly, I'm sorry. It says, what walks on 4 feet in the early morning, 2 feet during the day, and 3 feet at night? And then it presents the answer as... a bishop who transforms into a person to attend a ball, then breaks one of its legs and eventually ends up walking with a cane.
I mean, he
think
is
Nouvellette has
walking with a
broken leg,
cane.
But a masquerade ball does fit Fontaine, as it's the chapter titled Masquerade of the Guilty. And if he is the Hydro Dragon, then he would be a bishop in human form that uses a cane. The explanation for this riddle then goes on to talk about an old prophecy which says the Dragon of Water will descend in the form of a human. His intro text also references a Bible verse, Job 41:34, which talks about the Leviathan, which these days is what we call giant sea serpents. I also have this ongoing theory that dragons in Genshin usually have a dwarven counterpart that they're named after or share traits with. Durin and Dvalin are explicit, because those are actually names of dwarves, but Nouvellette obviously isn't. But this guy also looks just like Fontaine's otters, and that's when I realized that Otter is actually the name of a noteworthy dwarf. Otter's story basically involves him shapeshifting into an otter and then being
She pronounced the job. Jesus. She's trying, okay?
murdered by Loki, who tried to get out of his punishment but got punished more each time he tried.
This is a long video. This is an hour-long video.
But the overall moral
It's
of the
longer
story
because I
turned
keep
out to be
posing
something
it.
along the lines of how important it was to adhere to the laws and the consequences.
Also, the
set
otters
therein.
are fucking cute.
This seems like a really fitting theme for Nouvellette, so I'm gonna take it. I will expand upon this idea one day. I will. I'll do it.
Yum.
But I have a second Nouvellette theory, and it involves Egeria. For an Archon, Egeria was particularly sympathetic to the dragon race, and that makes me think that she may have befriended them, possibly going so far as to take one as a consort. In this case, it would be Nouvellette. Now I say this because in mythology, Egeria was the consort of the second king of Rome, Numa Pompilius. Given that ancient Fontaine is based on Rome and the first king was Remus, Nouvellette being Numa seems to hold some water here. Myth goes that Numa
Water,
recorded
haha.
Egeria's words in books, the contents of which established the original framework used for laws and justice in Rome. Numa then took these books to his grave only to have them unearthed 500 years later. When I read that, I immediately pictured a Hydro Dragon learning from the Hydro Archon the concept of law and justice, and who was only able to pass them off to Egeria's successor, Farina, after 500 years or so, because let's face it, Nouvellette is the only one with any real power in Fontaine right now, not Farina, so I don't feel like the whole thing got passed on to her just yet.
Yeah, fair.
And maybe it's just me, but Nouvellette really feels like an awkward father trying to prepare his spoiled, unruly child for a world of real responsibilities, while, kind of doing her homework for her.
Fair.
Plus,
That
this
makes
was absolute
sense.
Crack, I swear. But hear me out. While their personalities are quite off, Farina and Nouvellette bear some design similarities to GGZ, Kiana, and Siegfried, making me wonder if Siegfried is supposed to be a reference to Nouvellette in some ways, and that would make Egeria Cecilia and Kiana Farina.
My god, that is an interesting comparison. It doesn't quite fit, but I understand the concept, yes.
This idea gains a
Going to
little bit
visit
more
the authors,
merit
I would love
outside of the
to.
crack when you realize that Siegfried and Cecilia were both from very special bloodlines, and the merging of these two bloodlines created a very special holy maiden in Kiana. The mixing of a demon god and a dragon kind of mirrors this idea, and it's something that Hoyo does a lot in their games, so I'm not gonna call this completely impossible yet.
So if Loveland and the previous Hydro Archons were husband and wife, and then they, I don't know, fucked. I don't know how to feel about it. I don't think that's what happened, but it would be kind of funny.
And before you ask, yes, he is at least several hundred years old in his human form anyway, so this is all viable. Speaking of dragons, let's talk slugs.
Slugs?
Magazines appear to be based off of sea slugs, specifically sea bunnies. And this firmly establishes the pattern of draconic things being related to sea slugs in Genshin, like how Dvalin is most certainly based off of a blue glaucus, and Seelies are based off of Cleones. Ajdaha is obviously a little bit more toadish. I can't really justify him, but
It's a toad!
You know,
It's
still
the
kind of
big ass
somewhat aquatic.
toad.
But the Warden of Apep looked like it could be something more like a, you know, like a Melibae viridis, if I'm saying that right. Does my Latin sound good? It doesn't. I know. It's fine. I'm gonna practice, I promise. But I'm starting to think that there might be more to the whole primordial sea thing in the literal sense when both your god creatures and dragons have the same real-world inspirations in slugs.
It's slugs, I love
Can't
it.
wait to see what ends up as the frosted nudibranch though, because those things are really pretty. Maybe they'll be the cryo dragon. They'll be like somewhat transparent. That'd be so cool. I have no clever segue here, so here.
Looks
let's just
froggish,
talk
it's a
about
toad.
Indemnitium. This stuff is a type of energy that the Oratrice produces by
Hang on.
talk about Indemnitium. This
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
is a type of energy.
Indemnitium. I still can't fully understand, like, the indemnitium and all of that, and how that is all a thing. I recently figured out because right now, currently I only have one Fontaine character. That Fontaine character being Lynette. I recently figured out that the reason why I knew that the two locks of Fontainian visions, like a Eurasia and the other type of energy, and the visions look different because of that, but they also carry that Muna or something like that. Yes. Yes, so those two. So the character with the Fontainian vision actually carries the energy related to the vision. Numa, thank you. So if you're fighting with Lynette against those machines and they are having the Nuna energy, and Lynette has the Uzia energy, you can defeat the mecha with her using her because she has the opposite energy than the mecha. I recently figured that out on a full-on accident. Don't worry, Kingsguard. So there are the two. So there are two energies in Fontaine, the Numa and the Uzia. In Fontaine, vision holders' visions have two locks. Either they're related to the Numa energy, which is Lynette's vision. No, Linny's vision. Or Uzia, which is Lynette's vision. If you use them in fight, they actually carry that energy with them. So if you have a mecha that's oozing like this blackish, the Numa energy, and you go up to them with a character who has the Uzia vision, you can actually numb them. Ooh, shit, okay. So I think that's how it works, because I got an achievement. So how I figured it out, I got an achievement for defeating one of those big mecha thingies, which carried the new energy with Lynette. And I got the achievement that I defeated a mecha using Uzia energy. And I was like, I was in a fucking domain. I was doing some domain runs. And I didn't use any of that energy because I was just in a domain. So that's how I figured out the only source of Uzia energy that I had was Lynette's vision. So, there it is. Hey Wolf, how you doing? Back home with the last hour of sleep. How you doing? I can't point you into the right direction because I have no clue where it is either. How you doing? Welcome. I'm just going. We're doing theory crafting, and it's definitely something.
Energy that the Oratrice produces by distilling people's faith in trials and the justice system. The word indemnity.
So it's So I'm doing good actually. Probably I can work from home tomorrow because I managed to set up my work laptop at home, but I have to see. So far it looks okay, so fingers crossed. But yes, what else I was about to say? Anyways, doesn't really matter. This stream has used more of my brain cells than listen to my job working at 911 calls. Aww. Also miss you all. Oh my god, Paul. We miss you too. I love you so much. I'm 37 now, 37 and a year old. Bye, Ginger. What do you want me to say? I am also, like, I am inching closer to 30. And I don't know if I'm ready for it or not. So that's okay. About to fall apart. What, Ginger? Hang on. Did Ginger text me? Ginger did not text me. I thought that she did text me. Don't remind me. Sorry. I like cheeky doggies. Cactus is the only one that's operating on one brain cell at the moment. I'm actually using both my brain cells. It's not a big deal. Getting to 30 feels so scary, honestly. 30 is fine. 35 is where everything gets really bad. Oh god. I am not prepared. I am just a fresh college graduate in their early 20s. I can't do it, even though I'm not a fresh graduate and I'm not in my early 20s. Looks around in mid-20s. Don't worry, I'm with you, Wolf. I'm with you. We share a brain cell. Alright, so I probably have the brain cell at the moment because I feel like my brain's operating at the moment. Oh my god, 35 is not where shit goes down. Jesus Christ. Just stop. For me, 24... Okay, not to scare you, Wolf, or anything. But for me, 24 was when shit started to go down. But that was also in 2020. So I don't think it was because I was 24. It was probably because 2020 was a shit year to begin with. But yes. 10 out of 10 baby of the group. I love that Wolf is simultaneously the mother and the baby of the group. When you hit your 20s, it goes down. You just don't realize it. In your 30s, you realize, oh fuck. I think I'm still doing okay. I'm the mother. You're both mothers. Wolf is like a full-on, like, mom that you arrive home and they're like, oh, you look tired. There, have a blanket and have a hug. Wolf is that type of mother. You're like co-parenting this community. Right now, hormones are fixing your body rather quickly. It helps you keep running every day. Oh, okay, so, okay. Remind me how long ago that was. Brings everyone cake. See? Wolf is the mother again. Being the mother. Oh god, I'm not ready for aging. I don't think I'll ever be ready. Anyways, I'll finish this video if my life depends on it.
Means a sum of money paid out in compensation, which basically means that indemnitium is your legal fees converted into energy. Now, something I vaguely recall is Venti saying that gods get power from people's belief. And if that's actually true and not just him spitballing, then in theory, Farina is knowingly weakening herself if she's collecting that power of belief through the Oratrice and using it to power the city instead. Which might explain why she shies away from physical conflict. She might actually be kind of weak. Well, like in lore, you know, like I'm
In
pretty
like a
sure she's
physical
gonna be busted
form.
when she comes out as a playable character. Like that's just gonna happen. It does seem like this power source is becoming less and less reliable, though, and I do wonder if that's because Farina has made the courtroom a type of theater, so people take it less seriously. Otherwise, there would be no reason to research the Pneumacia reactors as a secondary power source. It's not like they can really use it anyway, since it's completely unstable. It's kind of reminiscent of nuclear energy in its infancy, but it's food for thought. nonetheless.
Oppenheimer.
You know what else is food? Salsa, but not this salsa because this is someone's name. So I made a theory a while back that explored this idea of Piero not
And the video is playing sound in stream, but yeah, that's the point. We are watching it together, Ginger. Oh god, sorry, I was hanging out. Don't worry, I was just yeah, it's fine. Oh, Wolf is a good mother, I'm the strict mother. Yeah, like you guys are co-parenting. I love that Cactus is like, cake, it's fine. I don't care about my cholesterol anymore. Give me cake.
being ranked number 1
That's also okay, Ginger. We love you.
of the Fatui Harbingers.
Hang on.
Back. Food, salsa, but not this salsa. Anyway, since it's completely unstable, it's kind of reminiscent of nuclear energy in its infancy, but it's food for
Oppenheimer.
thought nonetheless. You know what else is food? Salsa, but not this salsa because this is someone's name. So I made a
Salsa.
theory a while back that explored this idea of Piero not being ranked number 1 of the Fatui Harbingers, but instead number 0, or like just the director. That's actually what the theory was. I didn't actually say number 0. I just said he was like the director, but so he wasn't number 1. He was like outside, but whatever.
Yeah.
And if that was the case, then that meant that there was one Harbinger who we had never seen before and never heard of before.
I don't think
will
that's
leave a
the
link to that
case
video in
though.
the description if you're interested, but there's something kind of interesting in Fontaine that also
Yes,
adds some
Blankies.
weight to
I
the
already
idea of
have
Piero
mine
being
though.
number
Thank you,
0,
Wolf.
and it involves salsa.
Salsa.
Salsa is this little kid and a member of the 3-man Alliance of Artists to overthrow the evil organization and protect the future of Fontaine Club, I guess. The first 2 members are the Traveler and Paimon and are therefore numbers 1 and 2. Salsa then states that because she was the founder, that she should be number 0. This
Okay.
definitely feels like a hint from the writers since the Fatui are the only other numbered organization in the game, I think. But now I wonder if I'm right about who the unknown Harbinger is or was.
Okay, so if we're walking, like if we are following this logic that the director of the Harbingers is actually Harbinger number 0 and Piero is the Harbinger number 0 and we just don't know who the first Harbinger is, I think it's completely utter bullshit. I think Piero is the first Harbinger, and if we have a 0th Harbinger, you know who that one is? It's the Sarita. Sarita is the 0th Harbinger because she's the head of the whole thing. That's how I see it. Yay, Blanky's cake and Coca and Milo brings a huge pot of Milo. Wolf is such a mother. I love it.
And if I'm not, who could it be?
I think it's the
Okay, I think
Sarita.
that's all from me for reals today. I actually wrote 2 theories before I even sat down to write this recap summary video, so there should be, should give you a pretty good idea of how inspiring I have found this region so far. It's very inspiring. There is some fun stuff in the pipeline. Now, while the names of my honorary French channel members scroll by across the screen, I am gonna talk about Child's Whale, I guess, because
wait,
someone
what?
asked me to. I had no thoughts on it until they made me think about it, so here goes, I guess. So you remember how I said Nouvelette was the Leviathan, or like at least referencing it?
Yeah.
As it turns out, one of the oldest species of sperm whale is called the Leviathan, which is named after the Leviathan. Are they the same thing in Genshin? No, probably not.
Probably
But I
not.
think
It's just
curious to put an
interesting.
emphasis on it now, and then show a giant shadow in the waters when Fremine is diving, and then also the giant shadow way back at the beginning of Inazuma with like that one scene that never happened with the traveler underwater.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I remember
Triton
that.
is named after Ajax, which is a real-world mythological character, but also a mythological figure in Genshin who sailed a ship into the belly of a whale and then fought a dragon, maybe to save his love, Snegorochka. I'm butchering that one too, I'm so sorry. This appears to mimic the myth of Cetus, a giant sea
Hang on.
monster or whale that Perseus killed to save Andromeda. And if you've watched my video on Child, where I proposed that he was related to Parsifal, then you would also know that Parsifal is another word for Percival, and I think Hoyo is not above making a pun out of the names Percival and Perseus. I really don't. I think that's something they would do. Hoyo also really loves cosmic whales and prominently displays one on the Astral Express and Honkai Star Rail, and they also call the ancient monsters of old in that game Leviathans, so I think this might be an ongoing multiverse theme, I'm not really sure. Was that anything definitive about Child's Whale? No, probably not, but that's okay. That's what I got. And that is all I have for me today, guys. This was an hour long, nearly. I'm like 6 minutes short, but thank you all so much for watching if you're still here. And
Yeah, it has been a lot.
That made my head spin when I was writing them, so I cannot wait to see your reactions to them. So
All right.
that'd be great.
All right.
Anyway, take care, guys. I am losing my voice. I will catch you all in the next video. Hopefully, it'll be back by then. Bye.
All right. Okay, so I need to add something later. Yeah, hang on. Let me just like catch up with chat because I was watching the last few minutes. Hey, someone gotta be wholesome around here. We love that for you, Wolf. Honestly, I love it. Eventually be revealed, Dommy, mommy, Jesus. There are a lot of things. There are a lot of we need to add something later story openings, yes. Genshin, like, I feel like the more we're going into Genshin story, the less we actually know. Have you guys ever had the feeling that, you know, the more you know about something, the more you realize how much you don't know about that one specific thing? That's how I feel. I love the story of Ajax because of the Ajax dish. Oh, because it defeats the Greece. The Greek, and it goes against Greece. She didn't pick up what I picked up. Wait, what? Hello? Oh, that's the... Okay, so Cactus... You're still having some theory that I still don't fully understand, and you're saying that it's obvious, yet no one picked it up but you. So I don't know if it's obvious anymore. Okay, so what I did learn, open notes. The fuck is happening? Who are these people? Kingscar learned nothing. I see. It's like a bag of marbles. Each marble in its own plotline in Genshin. Exactly! There's so many things happening at the same time. Ajax stood on the bridge and stood fighting the entire Greek army, keeping them out of Rome. So Ajax is stronger than all of Greece. Ajax is stronger than Greece. Yeah, I've heard about that before. Alright, so... Oh, Jesus. Hang on. Where did my OBS go? There it is. Okay. What I want is... Okay, going back to Genshin a little bit, because... May as well. So that was very informative. It was also breaking down my brain, so even without theories, I still don't know what's happening with the story. I just here to look after you. Oh. A wolf is our mother. The rest of time is just normal day, I guess. All right, let's pay Berry Puff a visit. Berry Puff is freaking annoying. Not, hang on, no, that's not what I'm about to say. Berry Puff is freaking cute. For some reason, freaking annoying and freaking cute swap places in my head. I was about to say freaking cute, not freaking annoying. It's one of the cutest storylines we got in Genshin. Why are you attacking me? I didn't even, okay. Anyways, I am off on my grandpa's schedule. Look after yourself. We will. Thank you for being here. We love you, Mama Wolf. Bye. Alright. Berry Puff. Look at him! Oh, Berry Puff seems a bit uneasy. Maybe it's hungry. Let's feed him some food. Bloop, bloop. The blubber beast gently bites your sleeve and looks very anxious and upset. Seems that it is trying to pull you to a certain direction. Okay. You don't want to eat, eh? It's not eating at all. Keeps looking over to that direction. That direction? Well, Paimon can see what's going on back there clearly. Strange. Barefoot's friend is usually here, but he hasn't showed up at all today. Paimon thinks she heard Blubber Beast can communicate using songs we can't hear. Oh no, could it be trapped in the sea glass over there like last time? Let's go over and check. Alright, thank you for being around, Sanity. Have fun in your stream. Clockwork Weka? Are they here again? I already defeated them once. Okay, so Child is the chosen avatar or agent of the primordial water. For some future conflict. Motives are primordial and another ancient entity. What? Where did you get that from? That's an interesting theory, though. Have I defeated all of them? No. Aww. Look at him go. Look at this fish. Unclear. Okay. I kind of understand where you come from. It's interesting. Alright, Berry Puff. It's time for Omnoms. Ancient entity motive unclear. Okay. Oh, it lost a 75 because it was worried about its friend. Why would there be this many clockwork mecha around? And they're even attacking innocent animals. Shouldn't the Fontaine Research Institute do something about it all? Isn't that the institute that freaking blow up? I mean, it still kind of operates, but not really at the same time. Anyways, let's give it the food we prepared. There is a crystal fly over there that I want to catch. It seems to be in a much better spirit than last time. It should take a full recovery soon and return to the sea with its companions. I don't want Berry Puff to go! That's fair enough. You offer some food for Berry Puff that quickly swims out and unhesitatingly devours the tree. You tentatively reach out a hand and pet the little blubber beast. It feels softer and warmer than you expected. Almost as if you're learning hands across a plush toy made from velvet. I got all the hearts! It trusts us completely now. Looks like Blubber Beast will go up very soon. Paimon can't wait. It was so tiny and it's starting to get big. This is like a quest that you need to do once a day. So why don't we come back and visit later? Alright. Hey Mahi, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. Alright, yeah, I remember that because when Child came out, I remember listening to some YouTube videos, and then they explained how Child kind of fell into the abyss, and Squirk then taught him how to fight, and it felt like he's been there for months, but he actually was there only 3 days or something like that. And yeah, it's very it was never explicitly explained in the game before. Now they put a lot of emphasis on it, so it probably has to do something with the story, eh? This quest is going right next to my Aranara quest on my list that I never do. What do you mean? This quest is at least cute, and it's not that long. It's not that complicated like the Aranara quest. It's just something that you need to do once a day for like 5 days or something like that, and it's done. The reason why I'm not done with it yet is because I keep forgetting to do it. And I usually only do it on stream. Now that the ancient primordial water he is guilty of dissolving. Now as the agent of primordial water he's... Ah, I see. Okay. Yeah, I understand what you mean. Killy has nothing to do with Vasher, but linked to the primordial water. I see. Okay, I understand what you mean. Interesting. It makes sense. We just need to see like how it will really turn out, because that makes sense what you say. Bam, bam, bam. Buying up all the fish around here. Also, I need to go to one main restaurant because they also sell fish, and then I go to Inazuma to buy up all the fish in Inazuma as well. Okay, that could be it. I suspect it's more likely than that his delusion somehow messes with his vision, but it does make sense. It could be it. Like, I could be wrong. Also, I really should cook some more food because I'm starting to run out of food. I haven't done like cooking in Genshin in a while, so I really should do it. Alright, let me just go and heal myself up. Or a bishop. Jesus. Everything is connected. I feel like my brain is expanding in a level that I wasn't prepared for. My brain is kind of trying to brain and it's not doing a good job. Also, where is that place where there's a lot of electro crystal flies? I think it's... I think it's down there. And I was buying all the tuna. Yeah. So I can smell like tuna later on. I collect the Onikabuto as well. I probably won't need it anymore, but... Meh. Oh. it the place? Aha! It is. Hello. Yeah, that there were more electro crystal flies here. Yeah, I understand where you come from with this theory. I might not have, you know, put it together like this on my own. Collect the Onikabuto and feed it to Ito. Yeah, where are all these crystal flies? Correcting it. I don't know why I decided to correct electro crystal flies. Probably because I was just in Inazuma. You know what? I go to Sumeru. Sumeru has a bunch. I know that there is a few around this one, for instance. Because I need the crystal core that they provide. Oh, I should close the stream soon because it's 11:30 and I still need to work tomorrow. Oh, Sanity is streaming. Crazy Poopa and Ito the Onikabuto. Okay, where did the... I know that... What? What the fuck? Where the fuck did the crystal flies go? Okay, anyways, I know that there are some more crystal flies, I think, here. There is one of these waypoints around here that has a lot of crystal flies. Is it this one? Danger Dragon drops for Novilette. That's why I'm trying to do as well. Oh, there's one. Fuck! Where is it? Fucking... I caught one. That's not a whole lot, is it? Okay, so southwest of the hills of the Aranara, where the Sumter beasts are. You mean like here? Should have put Yao Yao or Sayu. Yeah, yes, probably. Not sure where all the Sumter beasts are in this area. Anyways, it's not that important, honestly. Probably just go to a statue of the 7. Next time if I go on crystal fly farming, I'll just bring them. Alright. On that note, let me just mute that and prepare for our final resting positions, Shavasana. Nah, it's not it. I'm just I'm referencing my yoga instructor. Our final resting position, Shavasana. That's the only thing I really learned. My god, hang on, we need to... No, we need to watch this. We need to watch this. Before I go... Okay, hang on. Before I go, we have to watch this. Do you guys know Ruffler? Look west of the... Oh, yes, I understand. So, Ruffler, who's like a huge memer in the Genshin community, just dropped the video an hour ago. I just saw it in my YouTube recommendations because I was looking for some music to put in the background. But watch this that I'm really going.
The next video is rated.
Here we go! Yeah, boy.
Oh wow. I really should do that. Oh my god! I love this. I love that they included Ayato. What's up? Feel like a water girl. I still haven't tried this though. No! No! Why?
Hey.
Stop! Don't! Oh! I don't want to murder them. They're way too cute. Oh, that's a big crab. I still haven't defeated one of these. Oi, oi. They don't fight on land. Oh. Of course they are chilling. I love that first reaction is to slap him. I should show you how to defeat the crab. Okay.
Bye, have a great time.
Okay, bye, Charles.
Stop right there, criminal scum. Oh god. So the friend that taking water described it as you go up to the ghost animal, tickle its butt. Look, they liked it. Oh no. Objection! Then it's not just me who saw that as like the same freaking thing. With the wishing system of Star Rail. Oh yeah, this bitch.
Osmanthus wine tastes. Nope.
Ah! Ayato is like, I ain't doing this.
Wait, that's illegal.
フォンテーヌ人の誇る審判がこうもひどいものだとは。これがそっちの規則なら、俺も自分の規則で行こう。
Yeah, that was my reaction too. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. Hydro Blade Slap! Oh, there's another. I know that there's another. I saw Dingardo fight it the other day, but I don't know where it is. So, but yeah, Raffler is always great. Okay, let me just fire. Okay. So, because I love this song so much. Okay, that was a very informative video from Ashkai, and it was perfect for today's stream. So tomorrow I shall be back with Fontaine, because the update is coming out tomorrow, and with that, my boy Neuvillette. I'm going to show you a speed clap of the crab. Alright. Thank you all of you who stuck with me while I was watching the video. I really do appreciate it. And we shall rate Sanity, because I've already figured out that we should rate him. Alright. Right. Sanity. So see you guys tomorrow. I'm trying not to be late. Love you all, and stick for the raid. Alright. See you guys later. Bye.
We made a choice, go fight against your fate. Pain will come with the blade. Pain will wake up the despondent crowd in this dormant world somehow. Unsheath the sword not to kill. Unsheath the sword to end those clouds above the ground. Wake up, it's time to gather now. We have nowhere to know where they all head for. See them right from afar, just blaze through the storm. We know it's right over there, something to spare. Whatever is arriving, we'll be prepared. We made a choice, go fight again.
Well, she's way more interesting than I. Wait, there she is. Oh look, I'm watching myself. It seems. I see. See. Well, she's here now. Hi, Anna. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for the raid, Anna. That is awesome. Anna, did you stop by over there and get that that Sussflower chest?
Too slow. Behold, upon the gale.
Yeah, a lot of the things that were covered in that video you watched today were actually covered in the 12-minute Men's Leaf video. Yeah, it's like right up here.
Gather.
I see everything. Oh, it's ripping.
Yeah, it's like right here. See, it's not even here for me anymore. Oh no, it's right here. Yeah. This guy will give you a chest. And like the fishing, the photography event was right there, and the guy in the sand is right here. I mean, I was right by it, so I was like, screw it, let's go do that. What I plan on doing today, though, is I have tabs set up on my second screen with all the information on all of the other quests that I have not finished yet. So all of the quests that we can check from the Steambird. Right here. Blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I looked up all of these. So I can go and finish those off. So, ooh, lots of quests. And right now I am about to work on, was it? Where It's So Easy. So this one right here. There are some prerequisite quests. I don't know 100% if I've done those or not, but I mean, we'll find out.
Quit following.
Add Astra.
Add extra applesauce.
Add Astra.
You know, and I was looking at Anna's stream, and Anna has so many Primo gems saved up, and a couple of wishes just sitting there waiting. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not that good. They had like 17,000 primo gems just sitting there. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, 322 and 10. So that's a total of 12 wishes. Yeah, I don't think I'm on the same level as Anna right now. Because you had like 17 intertwined fates sitting there, and another 17,000 primo gems just sitting there. Like, okay, yeah, I see how it is. She is ready to get that dragon. I'm really interested in Farina from what I see, especially Farina's weapon. And what I have right now, my history, I don't think I have much on history. Oh, wait, yeah, because I did a bunch for Firmament. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, almost 30, so 29. And then on the weapon banner here, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 44. So I'm going to save up through 4.1. I'm not going to pull for Nouvellette, though I am very interested in that weapon banner, considering, it's Staff of Homa and Nouvellette's weapon. They are both crit damage weapons. So it's either a crit damage staff or a crit damage catalyst. Yeah, because I can think of them. So that's really, really interesting. Really, really.
In biting wind, hearts will never bleed, frozen and vanished out of greed. In their restless dreams, they try so hard to breathe. Pulses flutter and sting within this bleakness. Somehow
500 and whatever the hell it is, base attack. Might be the 562, I think it is. Some of these share, don't they?